Joe Ricketts, good morning, and welcome to Morning Air on Relevant Radio.
Good morning to you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much for your time. Tell us about how your faith, how your soul was touched after you went on this the Silent Ignatian retreat, Joe.
Well, I have grown up always going to a Catholic school, so my experience as a young person was not only to take care of my mind and body, but also to take care of my soul, and that was always a very important part of my life. After I graduated from college, started my business, started my family, you kind of move away from that spiritual rejuvenation that that I had when I was in the Catholic schools during my formative years. And so I didn't feel like going to Mass or any of the other particular devotions really kept me in touch with my spirituality. So a friend of mine suggested I go on a retreat, a silent retreat. And I said, oh, my goodness, no. I did that in high school, and I said I would never do that again. That high school experience was not a good experience. But he went on to describe the type of retreat at the de Montreville Center and in St. Paul, and so I did go, and I went with some apprehension, but I found out it was just what I needed. The Silent Ignatian retreat allows people the time to pray and meditation and contemplation. And in my busy life, and I'm sure in other people's busy lives, that is something that's very, very important. So I really enjoyed it. It was just what I need. I've been there, I think, about 14 times. And I said to myself one time, if I ever have the opportunity, I think I would like to build a facility like this in the Omaha area where there isn't one. Now, I know that there are groups of people that go from this area to St. Paul, and there's also one in St. Louis called the White House, and there's groups of people here in Omaha that go to the one in St. Louis. So I thought having one here in Omaha would allow people the opportunity to make it easier and more comfortable to attend an Ignatian type of retreat.
So what Joe did, because he's too humble to tell you, he spent $13.6 million, purchased 930 acres for a retreat center in the beautiful. Have you ever been in the Platte River Valley between Omaha and Lincoln? It is absolutely gorgeous. A lot of us think of Omaha as Nebraska rather as being flat, but this is just absolutely gorgeous. So you've bought that 930 acres, and you're building a retreat center, and you've donated it to the Cloisters on the Platte Foundation. Wow.
Yes. I don't need all 930 acres, but the seller was not willing to sell just part of it, so I had to buy all 900. So the retreat that we're building is going to take a portion of this, so we'll have plenty of time, we'll have plenty of time in future years to develop around other religious themes.
And so the construction begins this summer when the property is up and running. Obviously, you'll have a chapel. You'll have space for 80 retreatants there as well. And you're not going to charge anything, are you?
We're just going to ask for donations.
Just a free will donation?
A free will donation, yes. That's the way it's done in de Montreville, and I felt comfortable with that. And so we'll ask for donations, but it certainly doesn't cost anybody anything.
Joe Ricketts is our guest this morning. We can learn so much from you, certainly the richness of your wallet, but really the richness of your soul, and that overshadows anything that, as we've said, has been on the ledger sheet. How did you learn this? I mean, you're the son of a carpenter. You grow up in a small town. Obviously, your Catholic faith is very important to you, Joe Ricketts, but as you're amassing this wealth, how do you balance that with your Catholic faith at the same time? We've had this theme so far this morning on Morning Air where we tend to go to the shiny. We tend to look at our bank balance as a measure of happiness when that is the antithesis of what we really talk about here on Relevant Radio. How did you find that balance in your life?
Well, first of all, material wealth doesn't bring you happiness necessarily. It brings you a lot of attributes that are very comfortable and very convenient, but it doesn't bring happiness. It's exercising the value system of your character is what brings you happiness. I'm an entrepreneur. Very few people really understand what it means to be an entrepreneur, but I enjoy making money. I enjoy making money more than I enjoy spending money. And when I'm going to spend it, I want to spend it on something wisely that is not only going to make me happy, but going to make other people happy also. So this is the kind of thing that makes me happy. It is just a value system that I grew up with, probably came from my parents, from my environment, from the schools that I went to. But, I am not unique, so I can't claim any sort of special praise for that. Americans, by and large, are the most generous people that ever have lived on the face of the earth. They are incredibly generous in almost every way. Everybody that I know has a portion of their budget that goes to their favorite charitable endeavor. I just happen to be fortunate enough to have made a lot of money. But part of my budget that can go for charitable donations is larger than maybe some other people. So I don't think I'm any different than other people.
What advice? That makes total sense. I'm just thinking, what advice would you give to someone who is not of great means in terms of giving of that treasure, given whatever God's providence has been in their life and how that will touch their soul? What advice would you give to them if they're saying, "Oh, I just can't do it"?
I'm not in the advice business. I've got my own value system, and I go my own way. I think that I witness and see and experience other people giving out of their budget. It's something that is part of the American character. I think that it's been with us throughout the history of our founding. But I really don't have any advice as to what people should do with their own character, their own value system, their own pocketbook.
Except to say attend a retreat, because that's obviously touched your soul, right, Joe?
Well, I think that if you attend a retreat, you'll probably find a great deal of satisfaction. And it will probably provoke the person attending the retreat to want to do it periodically. I know in DeMontreville they have scheduled for the same people to come back every year. So I think that unless people have had the opportunity to experience the wonderful spiritual aspiration that you can get from a silent retreat and the director of the retreat, that you are not giving yourself a full benefit of what your spiritual life can achieve. You can achieve a great deal of satisfaction. Now, it's other people find satisfaction in achieving their spiritual balance by doing other things. This is the one that I find the most attractive. It's very personal. It's very private. You do your own meditation. You do your own contemplation. You do your own prayers. And so it's very attractive to somebody like myself, but and to a lot of other people, as witnessed by the other retreat centers that exist and flourish around the country.
We should mention that, of course, the Ricketts name is quite familiar. Joe's son, Tom, is the chairman of the Chicago Cubs. The family's got the controlling interest in the team. And trust me, as Cubs fans, we are always praying for them.
Love to hear that.
And also, his other son, Pete, was elected governor of Nebraska in 2014. Have they incorporated retreats into their lives and their very busy professional lives?
Well, I have taken my son Tom and my son Todd on the retreats to Montreville, and I think it's been more than once, and they've indicated that they enjoyed it and they'd like to participate periodically. My son Peter has never had the opportunity. He's never been free on the weekends that I go, so he has never gone. So I'm sure he'll come to the Cloisters on the Platte. He's a very religious, very spiritual, very Catholic person, and so since it's close, it's convenient, he's one of the people that will be able to benefit by having it done in this area. So he will come, but he's never been before.
And I'm sure during the legislative season, he could probably use a good retreat at times. But
I think that's correct.
The Cloisters on the Platte begins construction this summer.